This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so before we start, if you have any questions, you can ask your questions. Okay, so sorry. Okay, so in last session, just we discussed that. So let's say one of the company, when they start Salesforce, one of the client, when they have the requirement to have Salesforce CRM, what they approach, how they approach. So let's say here Airtel is one of the telecom company and they are using Salesforce. So first, the team who is responsible to get the CRM application, they talk to Salesforce sales team and decide so which edition is better for them. So let's say here we are assuming they want to go with the unlimited edition. Okay, so first they can register for free trial. Whenever they register, the account whatever they get is production. They tell production and all the standard applications will be available in that production environment. So since we are not going to register for a paid account, I showed you how we can register for one of the Salesforce account as a developer, as an administrator, as a QA engineer, or as a consultant. There are different roles with the Salesforce. To start with, we need to register here. I believe all of you registered here and have your account. But the thing is, in the free account, we cannot. There is only limited space, only 5 MB space, only 2 users we can create, and we cannot create the sandboxes. Those are the limitations. But so in the paid account, whatever the client register, the main thing they can also create the sandboxes. The sandboxes are nothing but the test environments because so when they're dealing with these all these standard applications, it's not that as it is they are going to use those. So let's say they have 100 requirements on top of these standard applications, whatever by default Salesforce provides. So what will happen? They can run their business properly if they have the functionality for the 100 requirements, whatever they identify. So, but Airtel company, they don't have any software IT company. So what they'll do, that company, they will invite some companies, the software companies in the market for to help achieving these 100 requirements. So there are companies like Wipro, TCS, CTS, and many companies. So assume that Wipro company, they won the bidding. They won the bidding for the Airtel client, and so when they won the bidding, so for us also mostly when you get the job, we get job in one of this software company. So we will be working here in this company. So let's say this company, they are allocating one team for Airtel to work for their project. So let's say one of the manager. So let's say one of the team lead. So let's say 4 team members. So maybe 3 admin or developers plus 1 QA for testing purpose. QA means quality assurance. The testing team, they do the testing. So let's say this team is allocated to work on Airtel requirements. Okay, so that's how the project starts. So maybe we don't bother about all these things, but internally in the company, once they win the bidding, and they need to work for those requirements. So once we get the job, we'll be like one of these member. Maybe you might be a manager based on your experience, team lead or team member. Okay, so this team will be in this team, and we need to work on achieving the client requirements. So in the process of achieving these requirements, it's not that we are going to nowadays projects, it's not that all 100 requirements we achieve and deliver at a time. Nowadays, in most of the projects, they follow the agile process. Okay, so agile means they are not going to work on all 100 requirements at a time. Okay, so this is not related to Salesforce. The project, how not only Salesforce, other technologies also, in most of the companies, they follow this. And if you know, it is better. That's why I'm explaining. So the project, how they do, there is a process the company follow. So one of the process is agile process. So as part of the agile process, what will happen? They are not going to work on all these 100 requirements at a time. Okay. So what they will do, they, as part of the agile process, they divide the requirements into small, maybe they take only 3 requirements, 4 requirements and work and deliver like that. They divide this instead of working for 6 months or 1 year and deliver, they deliver for every 2 weeks. Okay, so here in the agile process, we call that as sprint, right? Sprint 1, sprint 2. So like that in the companies they design. So sprint means release, right? So it's nothing but release. They work on the requirements and the release. So in general, the duration will be 2 weeks. Most of the companies they follow the duration of 2 weeks or 1 month. It's based on. So let's say 2 weeks is the time, and they release by working on some of these requirements. So how many team members are there? So team lead can work. 3 admin or dev, these people also can work because they have 4 resources who can do the admin or the development work, right? 4 resources for that, and the QA for testing purpose, 1 QA resource. Resource means the employee who work for that. Okay, so 4 persons. So again, out of these 2 weeks, so 1 week is for development. Most of the companies, right? 1 week they do the development, and the second week is for the testing. So QA. So it's not that we don't do anything. So in first week, so we work on understanding requirement, and so maybe we work on developing and configuring. Maybe the QA engineer might be working on some other project. So in general, in projects, QA engineers they work in multiple projects. So when the second week reaches, so that guy will start doing testing. In case of any bugs or anything, again we need to work. So mostly we see some bugs and all those things. So we work and fix and deliver. So such kind of process. So same thing they repeat, right? Again, second sprint. So, but in this sprint, these resources, how many requirements? Let's say each resource is taking 1 requirement. Total 4 requirements they work and deliver. They work and deliver. So that's kind of process in companies they follow. And also technically, what happened? So they say daily stand-up calls. So that means, so daily we connect all this team. They connect in one of the meeting. They join in one of the call and update their status. So yesterday what they worked and today what they are going to work. So all those details, just in 1 or 2 minutes they'll update their status, and that we call as daily stand-up calls. So in such a way, project will be daily. So join call and update our status, and update tomorrow what you are doing. In such a way, this process will continue. So here, in first week, while achieving these requirements, the thing is directly we should not work in production. Directly working in production is not good. It will spoil the end users transactions, and everything will be affected. So that's why from production, so one of this team lead, let's say they provided access to team lead to this Airtel production, right? So that Salesforce account is not for Wipro account, right? That not belongs to Wipro. We work in Wipro, but the Salesforce account belongs to Airtel client, right? Once this project over, this company will assign to some other project. Maybe we'll be working for some other client Salesforce account, right? It's like that. So since we directly should not work in the production, from production we create the sandboxes. Okay, sandbox is a test environment. So when you create a sandbox, what will happen? In some other server, maybe production will be in one of the Salesforce server. When you create the sandbox in some other Salesforce server, all the information of the production will be copied and it keep in that sandbox, the new sandbox location. So what we do, we work in those sandboxes. So in general, in the projects, for development purpose, so we create one sandbox, dev sandbox. For testing purpose, quality assurance for QA engineer testing. So we create the QA sandbox, one of the test environment. So all these are created from production by copying the production information. And maybe UAT means user acceptance testing. User acceptance testing means maybe dev, Wipro company, all these employees do the development, QA, Wipro employee, one of the testing team, they do the testing. UAT means user acceptance testing. Most of the times this will be done by the client side employees, the Airtel employees. So one of the user login and test how it is. If they agree, then it will be deployed to the production. So that's what will happen. Okay. So that is a process. That's the development life cycle. So when you work in any company, we are not going to directly work in the production. First, we work in the sandbox. So mostly we work in the dev sandbox. The changes will be later moved to QA. In QA, the testing team, they'll do the testing. And the UAT, the client employees, they do the testing, user acceptance testing. Finally, if everything is fine and it is closed, it will be deployed to production. Okay, so that is what will happen. So this we call as the development life cycle. So what in most of the projects they follow. It's not that 100% all companies, all projects they follow this. No. So maybe if you are working for a small client, just dev QA and the production. That's it. So, but most of the clients you will see dev QA, QAT, and production. Some clients again they introduce staging. After UAT, they keep all changes in staging, and later on go live date, whenever they decided to deploy into production, they'll deploy. So it's all based on the project and the company and the client. But mostly, right, 80 to 90% you see maintaining this kind of process. Okay. So now these sandboxes, how we create. In general, right, this is like a one-time job once the project starts. So maybe when you are working as a software engineer and maybe 3 years, 4 years, 5 years experience, you might not get chance to create. Yeah, it's all depends upon if it is a new project, only that time, right? Since it is a one-time job, maybe you might get chance. Okay, so but I'll show you how we do that. In the free account, whatever we registered yesterday, right? So we need to register in developer.salesforce.com. Already we discussed. So when you log into that, so for us, you don't see the sandboxes options. Okay. So I think yesterday I gave this, and the password is SFDC 123. Login. This is the account which we registered. But in this account, we cannot create the sandboxes because it is a free account. But for us as an administrator developer, Directly we do whatever we want to practice and all those things we do in this account. But when you work in a client project, we don't directly work in the production, we work in the sandboxes. So since here, right, even you also might be registered, you also if you try to search left side, you don't find any sandboxes option. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll open one of the paid account and show you. So only that's the slight difference you see, right? Other than that, everything is same. Okay, so I'm going to log into one of the production, either developer edition or real production. The URL is login.salesforce.com. So I'm trying to log into that account. So I'm just passing my screen. So once I log in, I'll again click on setup. So now, so I logged into that account, so which is a paid account. So if you see, you don't find any difference, right? The developer edition of this one is exactly same. But this paid account, whatever I am showing, is a enterprise edition. Okay, so left side, search for company information and click on company information. Okay, so this is the company name and the contact and the other details are there. So now if you see the space, right, data space view, and if you see the data storage, 10 GB. But in the free account, if you go and check the free account, company information, so you'll see only the available space as 5 MB. Only that's one of the difference. Okay. So here for a business, 10 GB is good enough to run their business. Okay, for small companies. Okay, and also the licenses part, when you go back and see the licenses, since it is a free account, each user is like a paid one, right? So if you see here, there is a license called Salesforce and only one license. But in our free account, we get two licenses, right? But here I paid for only one account, one user, and only one user license is here. So it's like that. Okay. And so you see even more limitations in the production if it is not unlimited edition, right? So our developer edition is like the unlimited edition, but only the concern is with the data, the amount of data whatever we create, and we cannot create the sandboxes. Okay, so these are some details, and also here, but advantage here, since it is a paid version, no need to directly work in production. We have option to create the sandboxes. Left side, so when you search for sandboxes, you'll see the option for sandboxes. Click on sandboxes. So these are the some of the sandboxes. Now if you see here, Dev QA and UAT and training, these are the different sandboxes. So how to log into sandbox, right? Creating sandbox is very easy. So click on new sandbox and choose the sandbox type. So I'll explain about these sandbox types going forward, right? What is developer and developer pro partial copy? I'll explain going forward. Just we give some name and click on next and create the sandbox. So once we create, you see the sandboxes like this. So to log into any sandbox, right? All these are the sandboxes, right? The URL for production is login.salesforce.com. The URL for sandbox is test.salesforce.com. But I am saying we create multiple sandboxes, div, QA, and UAT. For all those things, same URL? Yes, same URL. But how we know in which sandbox we log in? So what will happen? So people follow the naming convention, right? In production, right? First name dot, so last name at the rate company.com, right? So that is the standard they follow and some password. Okay, so let's say same user is having access to div sandbox. We follow some naming conventions. So whatever the production username dot div. Okay, so for all these sandboxes, they open test.salesforce.com, but in the username at the end it is ending with the div. They understand that they are going to log in into div sandbox. So when they have access, the same user is having access to QA. So their username ends with QA and login, and they understand they are trying to log into the QA. Right? Like this, you see. So on day to day, when you join in a project, you might be having access to Dev, QA, UAT, all sandboxes, and production also. On day to day, mostly when you work, we open test.salesforce.com and enter username and password and login. So that's what we do. Okay. So here something like this and enter password and login. Okay. For all sandboxes, same URL, but at the end you see variation with that. So 90% in all projects, like 99% you see people follow these standards. Okay. So just we should know this. So sometimes what is happening, people are learning, but they're missing these small things. So when you work, we for sure work in Dev Sandbox. So that time, if you don't know what is the URL to log in, it is not good. Okay. The basic thing. So what is the URL for Sandbox? Salesforce.com. We enter username and login, and also QA Sandbox, other sandboxes will be there. And production URL is login.salesforce.com. So this part, these basics, you should know. Okay. So going forward, so why we give only short names? If you give bigger name again, it's very difficult. The username becomes like very lengthy. So that's why we use short forms, dev, QA. Is it like for sure it should be dev? No, whatever they want, they can give. Sometimes they say config, right? So it's all based on project and the people who is creating based on that. Okay, but mostly people follow this naming conventions. So just understand for this purpose, the development team they do the development here, the developer or administrator, whatever as per the requirement, we work in Dev Sandbox, and finally try to QA testing team. If they find any bugs, again we fix those bugs in Dev and deploy to QA. If they sign off, it will be deployed to UAT. If they find any bugs, again we work as a developer, deploy to QA. After they sign off, again it will be deployed to UAT. After they sign off, finally it will be deployed to production. So that's the life cycle. So this process we follow in the projects. Okay. So just to understand this process. So now the next phase is for us to understand. Already, all of you, I asked you to register in developer.salesforce.com. You should have your own account, and I'm also providing access to this class account. Right? Once you register here on day-to-day to log in, again and again, why I'm repeating. So you should know, right? Going forward, you need to spend time here to practice and do all those things. So login.salesforce.com. So the username, but I'll provide the access in a different way. So maybe those instructions from our next session, I'll give how exactly you log in and access everything. But for now, right? So this is what we registered, and even you know username and password, but you cannot log in because for you it might be asked for the verification. So log in, and when you have many accounts, what happens? It's very difficult to remember. I have many accounts. So what I'll do? So we can also bookmark, but do this only if it is a personal system and no one is going to access your system, right? So you should not do in some public system where other people access, right? So it's like that. So now here just I'm just creating a bookmark. So for my understanding, going forward, instead of again opening login.salesforce.com, entering username and password and login, so I just click on this link so that in the URL it is supplying the username and password and it will try to log in. Okay. So 94. So here, so I'm giving like this, and our username is this one. Okay. So if you want, you can also create like this. So just for your reference, in case if you also want to try like that, just I am keeping here for your reference. Okay. But going forward, I'll tell you how you can access. But this URL for sure, even though you try to click and save, we cannot log in because it asks for the verification code. So now once you log in, I did not explain about those applications. So what is that marketing application and sales and the service step by step. Now I'm going to explain. Okay, once we log in, already I think we discussed, we have the lightning experience. This is whatever we are seeing is the lightning experience. There is a world experience on top right when you click on this view profile icon. So here we have option to switch to classic. But mostly we work with the lightning experience. So when you are in the lightning experience, to see the applications, you need to click on this app launcher. Now here dots you are seeing, this part we call as app launcher. So maybe going forward technically when I say app launcher, you need to understand I'm going to click here. Okay. So click here, right? This is app launcher. Keep the cursor, it is showing app launcher. When you click on that, so if you see it is showing, so here it will show all the recently opened apps. If you are not satisfied with this, you can click on view all. Here it will show all the applications available. So here main important applications, so marketing, sales and service. Okay. So I'm opening the marketing application. Okay. So slightly at high level, I explained about this. The basic terminology of the Salesforce. Right? If you see, I think in last session, I think somewhere I have included this one. So here, one project is like one application. So here, instead of database table, we call as object, and the column in a table we call as field. The rows in the table we call as records. And here we have tab internally links to an object and bring the data and show on the UI. So here, marketing is the application. And because marketing team, when they log in, they open this application. Frequently, they refer campaigns, leads, and contacts. That's why, as a default Salesforce, they are showing all these tabs. Right? All these tabs, internally, these tabs are linked to an object. So Salesforce, they provided many standard objects. Object means database table. Campaign is one of the standard object. Right? Whatever by default Salesforce provide, we call that as standard. You see people saying standard application, custom application, standard tab, custom tab, that standard object. Object means table. Custom object, which we created, which is not provided by Salesforce, we call as custom object. Standard field, the column which is by default provided by Salesforce. We also say custom field that we create as per client requirement. Those are the custom fields. Okay, so just the terminology going forward we'll use. So now here campaigns is one of the tab. So when you click on this tab, what will happen? It will internally hit the database to read the information from the campaign object, right, which is a database table. And also every time, in order to avoid showing all the available campaigns data in the table, here we have list views. This list views will apply filter to bring. So what is the data you want to see? Right, for that, through these list views, by applying the filters, we get the information whatever you want to see. So these are the standard list views. As a default, when you register, when you first time log into Salesforce, you see all these things configured by Salesforce by default. So that's why we call these as standard list views. So recently viewed means as a current logged in user. At present, we logged in as one of the user called Durga. So recently, if you see any record, only those it will show here. Okay? So if you want to see all records, we have all active campaigns. So when you click on this one, now if you see, it is showing all the records. You are seeing all these records. So now this data we did not create. So what happens? For testing purpose, Salesforce, they provide all these records as a test data for us. Okay. So now for us, it is like a table. So when you don't know about the Salesforce terminology, so technically, generic way, we call this as a table, and all these are the columns: campaign name, start date. But in Salesforce terminology, this is an object, campaign object. In that, campaign name is a field, start date is a field, end date is a field. Each and every row here you are seeing is a record. We call these as records, like that. You can open a particular record to see in detail information. So you can click on that link so that it is opening one of the campaign record. So this one we call as a campaign lightning record page. Technically, we call like that. Okay. So here, when you open this, when you open detail, right? So we say this is a detail page of the campaign. So the top part, whatever you see, this one technically we call as highlights panel. So this part we call as highlights panel. This is used to show the key fields to understand in the campaign. Maybe the campaign might be having 100 fields or 200 fields. Fields means columns, right? In the campaign table, those many columns are there. So which value you want to see, right? The key fields information will be shown here in the highlights panel. And related means, so going forward, we'll discuss about the relationship between the database tables. The child tables information will be shown under related, and to show all other fields in detail, the detail page, this is the one here you can see. So this user is the owner for this campaign. This is the campaign name. The campaign is active. It is a direct email campaign. Status is completed. Start date, end date. They expected this much revenue from the campaign. So the budget is this much. They spent this much. All those details we capture here. Okay? So this is like an advertisement, right? So if they want one more advertisement, right, they can create one more new campaign. Right? Or you can again click on the tab. Here we have a button new and create a new campaign. So we can create that. It's like we are introducing a new row in the table, right? So we are creating a new campaign record. So here star means required. If you don't populate the required fields and try to save, system will throw the error like this. Okay, so let's say here the campaign name digital marketing is the campaign name, and active. Do you want to make it active? You can make it active. So the type, so it is internet advertisement. Right? So maybe I'm keeping as advertisement. The status, the plan. So based on how you are deciding. So let's say this should start from next month start date. That is the start date. So expected revenue in campaign, actual cost. So all those things you can give. Right? So I'm giving like this. So we populate, and if you want to populate later, you can ignore. So for now, if you populate all the required fields, so that is sufficient. That's it. So that means we created a new record. Right, one of the new row we introduced in the campaign table. So this is how, right? If you see, without writing any command, right, with the point and click, we are able to create a record. And also in the same way, you can modify. Let's say I want to modify this information. So you can click on. So all these are the buttons. Technically, we also call as actions, quick actions. So click on edit, and here, so you see like this, and here, so what we do, so let's say I want to change this date to something else. So whatever you want to update, so you want to update, and finally save, right? So that means this is like we are updating this record. It is updated in the database. In the same way, if you don't want some reason, you created, but there is a change in the plan, somehow you don't want this, so you can delete. Okay, so to delete, again, when you open this record, whatever the record you want to delete, you can open. And here we have one of the quick action called delete. So click on delete. So are you sure you want to delete? You can delete. So if you delete, the deleted records will be available in the recycle bin. Okay, so to open the recycle bin, so we need to click on app launcher and search for the recycle bin. So click on recycle bin. So here, so we are seeing the records in the recycle bin, right? So here, sorry. So these records again from recycle bin, if you want again restore by changing your mind, you can choose this one and click on restore. So again, the data will come back to the database. Again, you can click on these campaigns and here, so you can see that record came back. So again, so the thing is there are some limits. So when you delete one of the record, so since we work in a multi-tenant environment, so I told that, so Salesforce, they allocate space in one of the server. So in that server, not only our company information, the client, let's say if you are working for Airtel, not only our Airtel company client information, the other clients information also will be there in the same server. To see the server, so left side, so when you go to the company information, so click on company information. So here you see, so we have space in AP24 server. So if you do something very wrong configuration or some development in a bad way, the other clients in the same server, those clients also will suffer because it will keep burden on the server and the system and the other clients also will suffer due to that. So to make sure that we are not doing some bad things, bad configuration or development, Salesforce they keep limits for each and every most of the features. Okay, so one of the limit is, so when you delete a record, the deleted records will be available in the recycle bin. So you can click on app launcher and search for recycle bin and open the recycle bin and see. Here the deleted records will be available only for 15 days. Okay, that is one of the limit enforced by the Salesforce. So not only for this client, when you work for any Salesforce client, for them, one of the limit, the deleted records will be available in the recycle bin only for 15 days. Okay, so these limits might change. Okay, so Salesforce, so yearly they release 3 versions. Okay, so this point also we should know. So for sure, the Salesforce company, they release the new version for each each year. They release 3 versions. Okay, so the versions names starts like this: versions, winter, spring, and summer. Okay, so it's like winter 21, spring 21, summer 21. Now summer 21 version is going on. Okay, so the thing is, so why I'm explaining, so maybe when they release the latest version, they might also change the corner limits. So many years back the limit was 45 days, later they decreased it to 30 days, later they decreased it to 15 days, right? So when you also refer these limits, so when you search in Google, right, recycle bin data in Salesforce, you might see many websites where they say so the limits and all those things. So I always recommend you to see help.salesforce.com, right? This is one of the official Salesforce website. So but you might also see this in some third party the blogs, right, in some blogs or in some forums. So they might be answered that one maybe 10 years back, 5 years back, so like that. So maybe 10 years back it was 45. When you refer that and if you try to access, whatever you think that goes wrong, right? Uh, so that's why always we need to trust this official website, right? So now this is not official, right? This is LinkedIn, and someone, so they posted in the LinkedIn, right? So we always need to see the Salesforce official, right? So number of days recycle bin data in Salesforce, something like this. You see, so maybe this website, this is a third-party website. So here the limit is 15 days. It is correct, right? So again, this guy also saying that 30 days to 15 days it is decreased. But maybe this person might not be updated this blog. Again, after 1 year, 2 years, if you see, you'll see some issues maybe. So that's why always we need to see the official website for the limits. Okay, so that we should know. Okay, yeah, that now the thing is why I'm explaining that. So we should aware of these points. They are talking about the versions or something. Every year, Salesforce they release 3 versions: winter, spring, and the summer. The latest version at present, whatever is going on, is the summer 21. Okay. So you can also see, let's say the account whichever you logged in. So this AP24 is in which version? So maybe sometimes what happens when they release the new version, they are not going to update this to all Salesforce servers at a time, right? Slowly, region by region, they will update with the latest version. Sometimes we also see like this. So one of the sandbox may be in the latest version. Production is still in the old version. We see those things. That is very common. Okay. So that time all we need to understand. So Salesforce, they have many servers, and when they release a new version, it's not that they're going to update all the servers at a time. Okay, so again, click on this. So status.salesforce.com, and then click on Salesforce services. So just I'm showing. So maybe the summer 21 is the very latest. It's not guaranteed that it is updated in AP24. Maybe it might be in the older version, but some other Salesforce servers or the clients which I am working is updated with summer 21. I think this is also updated with summer 21. Right? So when is the next release? So that also you can see. So click on maintenance, and now summer 21 major release. It happened on June 12th. So the next release winter 22, it is on October, right? So that's the schedule. So this website will be useful for us to refer and understand. Okay. So all those things just I'm just showing. So because we have limits, technically we call as governor limits, and we see those kind of things in common. Okay. So that is about this campaign. So how the advertisement related information they store. So few technical things. So what we call this highlights panel, all those things, just for understanding. So from these campaigns, the leads will be generated. So lead is nothing but the company who is looking for these services. Let's say Airtel is a telecom company. They're offering mobile and internet services. Let's say one of the software company, they need internet for that company, right? When by seeing the advertisement of the Airtel, they might respond to this, right? So when they respond and try to approach this Airtel company, for Airtel company, the company who is in need of having internet, let's say ABC Limited software company. Okay, so that company name and who contacted from the company, all the person details of that company, they store in the lead. Okay, so here lead is also one of the standard object, and this is the lead tab. So these are the lead list views. So if you choose this, it is showing all the list views. Sorry, all the records in the database. This data is a test data by default provided by Salesforce. So now when I open one of the lead, you can understand how they are storing the information. So this is the name of the lead, first name and last name, and Mr. Mrs. And this lead title in the company, right? Behalf of which company this person is contacted, ABC Limited Software Company, something like that. So in that company, what is the title? That maybe that company name is here, Farmers Group of Florida. So all the details, even if you want to see more details, click on details. And here, lead name, the lead, the person is working in this company. So the title in the company is that, and the company, industry, and annual revenue of the company, right? So maybe they Google it or visit the website, and Airtel company employees, they'll update all these details in their system about the lead. So lead is some information who might be looking for the product or service the client offers, right? So once the lead is there, it's not that they're going to proceed, right? Let's say the employee of this company called Airtel, and just did inquiry. Later, not switching, maybe later not picking the phone or not doing anything, not responding to any calls of this Airtel. So they'll stop contacting this lead. So let's say Airtel company, the employees when they call to this lead and talk, they say, call me after 1 week, call me after 1 month. So here they have activity. So they create a task or the event that let's say they ask you to call on next Monday morning 11 to 12. So they create an event here, and when they log into Salesforce, it shows notifications here. So by seeing that, the employee of the Airtel will call to this lead and check for the interest. So if the lead is showing interest, so then what they'll do, so there is a status field. So lead status, they mark this one as closed converted because they are showing interest. So maybe these are the default values provided by Salesforce. If the client asks for a different set of values here, so we need to work. That's the reason they are giving job for us, and we are going to work for them, right? So maybe they are always maybe not happy with the standard values or standard things provided by Salesforce. We are there in the job to help them to alter these as per client requirement and teaching. Okay. So as a standard process, this is what we can choose closure converted and save it. Right? This whatever you are seeing we call as a lead path. By seeing this, we understand what is happening to the lead. So once the lead is marked as closed converted, so that means this lead is showing further interest. So there is a action, quick action called convert. So when you click on convert, the lead can be converted into account, contact, and opportunity. Okay, so like this can be you can choose, and also that which fields of the lead should be mapped to which field of the account. That account is a company. All the company related information will store in the account. All the person information will store in the contact. That opportunity is a deal. So they can name the name of the opportunity, company name, and something whatever they want. So all these records it will generate. So internally there are some mapping settings going forward. I'll show you. So there we decide. So which fields of the lead should be mapped to which fields of the account and which fields of the contact and all those things. Okay. And here while creating in the standard functionality, for sure it will be created as account and a contact. Opportunity is optional. If you don't want to create the opportunity, you can say don't create an opportunity. So that when you click on convert from the lead, it will only generate the account and the contact. Okay, so that's what will happen. So now, let's say a client is asking while converting the lead, they want to convert into only account. They don't want contact and opportunity. That is not possible. But client is saying they want. So that is the situation when we go with the development. Okay, as a out of the box means the standard configuration. This is what we can do. If they want, they can create account, contact, opportunity, everything. We can maybe bypass creating this opportunity. But if they don't want to create contact, that is not possible in a standard functionality. That time we need to rework on developing this entire page. So this pop-up, the screen, whatever you are seeing, we need to develop. And we only provide option to create the account and not contact and the opportunity. So like that, we need to work. So that's why there is a scope for us to do the development. Okay. So for now, I want to create everything and just convert. So when you convert, right? So this lead is converted into account and the contact and the opportunity. So when you open account, so in the lead, whatever the company related fields information is there, that is captured in this account. And company address and maybe phone number, all these things are generated here. And in this company, right, this person is one of the contact. Going forward, if this person is on leave, or maybe if this person is moved to some other project, maybe other person might approach behalf of this company, right? So it's like a parent-child relationship is there. The contact is a child table for account. Going forward, there is a topic called relationship. That time in detail I'll explain about that. Okay, so here this is the contact, the first name, last name, company, email, mobile number, all those details we are seeing here. Okay, and also the opportunity. Um, Again, if we go back, opportunity is a deal. So what they want, all that information will be maintained in the opportunity. So until here, converting lead and generating this, that's what they do. The marketing team will do. So that's the end of their job. The next phase, once the opportunity is generated in the system, the sales representatives, so they need to work on this and proceed further. The sales representative's job is, once there is a deal, so one of the client is looking for purchasing a product or the service. So I'm opening the sales application. Again, I'm clicking on app launcher, searching for sales application, or you can click on view more and choose that one. And just quickly searching and choosing sales application. The key thing for the sales representative is the opportunity. Daily they see the opportunity. So there is an opportunity. The client is looking for a product or service. They will call to that. This deal is for whom? So when they open the opportunity, they will see this is for this company, right? So again, they open this account and understand who are the employees of that company, try to contact them and convince them and close the deal successfully, right? So it's not that opportunity is generated. So the client, whoever is looking for this product or service, they are taking. So the sales representative needs to convince and maybe task and day-to-day follow-ups, right, to see that account details, all those. These are the tabs this sales team use most of the times. That's why Salesforce is showing all these tabs in this application. And the most common question for the people who start newly, if you observe marketing application, in marketing application also accounts is there, contacts is there, opportunity is there. Here also it is there. So here in the sales application, if I create a new opportunity, will it reflect in the marketing application? Yes, it will reflect. Okay. So here the opportunity or lead or whatever the tabs are there, whatever the standard objects are there, irrespective of the application, if you create the data into that, if you create a record into that, that will be available everywhere. Okay, so here in Salesforce, the application is nothing but the collection of tabs, because sales team frequently they refer these tables. That's why they are providing tabs to, it's like a shortcut they are providing, and quickly they click on this and look the data of that. Okay, so nothing more than that. You don't see storing data specific to application, those kind of things are not there. Okay, so just understand. So now opportunity. So they talk to the client and so based on the progress, here there is a key field. So let's say they are negotiating about the product or the service, right? So this, what is the progress? This we call as sales path. Okay, so they can easily understand what is happening to this opportunity. So once they won the opportunity, right, let's say they won the opportunity, the next phase is a service. Okay, so they bought this service, the product, whatever retail company is offering. So let's say there is a problem with the internet. So what they'll do, they'll call, right? Whoever is using retail service, that client, the customer, they call and say there is an internet issue. So that time Airtel company employees, so they have the support representatives. So they use a service application. Each problem related to the customer, they create as a case. Okay, so here you will see case. But this case, when you call, so first they want to verify whether you are real customer or not. They ask your registered mobile number, date of birth, or ask you to confirm your details. Then only they provide the service, right? So this here case is a support activity. It can be like a problem with the product or service. It can be an installation request. Any support. Let's say they are asking for the bills. Any kind of help, whatever the customers want, they create as a case and track. Okay, so that's the process. So maybe let me open some of the cases, how those will be looking. I'm opening one of this case. Case unique case number will be generated. So these are the details. So subject starting generator after electrical failure. So there is some problem with that. So they maintain like this. And also for sure this should be closed as soon as possible, right? Within an hour, within a 24 hours, within a week, based on the type of problem. Okay. So mostly the support representatives they deal with the service application. So at high level, just I explain. So slowly we understand the other things and also we work on the custom applications and all those things. Okay. So since we don't have time today, so Monday we proceed and understand about those. So still I need to explain many more things. So for so how I'll provide access to the account and all those things on Monday I'll explain exactly. So I'll ask you to so open. So maybe Monday I'll provide that URL how you can do that. So all you need to do is um, so you should bookmark this URL and you need to enter your registered email address and click on login so that automatically you will be logged into the class account which I am teaching. So going forward, this account will be useful for you for your reference when I configure something to see that configuration and practice in our account. And also maybe for now I'm sending email for the notes and all those things. Going forward, I'll attach the notes and all the required material and all soft copies and everything. So within the Salesforce account, which I'm going to provide the access. So maybe to show you how it is, I'm opening one of the existing batch account. So all you need to do, so go here, enter your email address and log in. So you'll be logged in. So once you log in, so if you click on App Launcher, you will see admin notes. You can just search for admin notes. When you search for admin notes, you will see admin notes. You will see the latest notes, whatever I'm typing on day to day. And also I provide some screenshots because navigating is a difficult initial phase. So how to navigate from which screen to which screen, how we navigate in Classic, how we navigate in Lightning, how we navigate. All those screenshots also, all those things will be available in that account. And also, you see, we have many Salesforce affiliated websites. So where exactly, apart from what I am teaching in the training, you can do practice and all those things. So those links are here, and maybe Monday I'll explain more about that. And I have a website where you can read the interview questions and all the materials. Some materials I'll share through Google Drive. Okay. So Monday I'll explain clearly about those things, and these are Salesforce affiliated websites. So one time we should know. So what are these websites? And there is a certification program. So how register for certification and so what is the price and all those things. I think 1 or 2 days will understand all these things and we start with the practical things. by taking the project. I explain about a project and the take requirements. So while achieving those requirements, obviously we should know about all the topics what we work on day to day. I'll cover all the topics needed for the administration. So that's what we do. So today we are done with the demo sessions. So if you are interested, I'm going to send email. So you need to pay the fee and share the WhatsApp. So once you share, you will get the once I need to update your information in the database so that automatically you will get the meeting invitation. Okay. So Monday afternoon, I'll send the updated meeting invitation. So before do that, so you need to pay the fee and you can share the receipt. You can share through WhatsApp. Okay? So that's the procedure. So before ending today, so any questions, anyone?
Hi, sir. Regarding the Saturday, Sundays, the training sessions will be going on or not?
Sunday from Friday. Okay, Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 9:30 until the course ends. Okay.
Okay, sir. Got it.
Hey, Srini, those sandbox users, right? Do you create them in production?
Yeah.
Okay, and you create them in production and you assign these sandboxes to them.
Yeah. So the thing is, once the sandbox is created, it is a completely different environment. There is no connection with the production.
Right.
Okay. So the user in production is different, and the user in the sandbox is different.
So I go to the sandbox as an admin and I create the users there.
Yeah, you can create user, so it will be there only in sandbox.
Oh, okay.
So what will happen when you create a sandbox from the production? Let's say in the production there are 100 users using the application. All those users also will be copied into sandbox. So technically, whatever users you see in production, you will see those users in the sandbox also. But really, they don't use sandbox, right? Those are the end users. So what we do, we deactivate those users, and in that place, we create the users for administrators, developers, or QA, whoever is working. Okay.
So you create those users in the sandbox itself.
Sandbox itself, and once you create, it is only in that sandbox only.
Right.
Not that is production or other sandbox. Okay. Any other questions?
What is the main difference between classic and lightning?
The user interface, the look and feel, what you see, right? The responsiveness. The lightning is more responsive and respect of the device. It can be a big screen. It can be a iPad, a tab. It can be a mobile. Everywhere it is more responsive and user friendly for all devices. That's kind of framework. But classic is not like that. Okay, so classic is not more responsive like lightning. It's a latest UI technology. That's a lightning experience. Okay.
Sir, in admin and development, we can see both options, right? Lightning, admin also we can see the lightning and classic, and development also we can see same option, right? Any different is there for that admin and development?
So the meaning of admin people refer anything which you don't write the code and configure, right? So you just click on new and fill something and write some formula and configure. So that part we call as admin. When you use lightning experience and how we configure, where to click, where to navigate, so how you configure few things. So that we consider as lightning experience administration. But you need to develop some custom screens, right? Let's say a client did not like whatever is showing here. They want to see something else and click on the button or something. So we need to create the custom UI like this by satisfying the client requirement. For that, we need to write the HTML and we write the code and do that. So that's why people say lightning development, right? Admin means which we do develop and configure, that is admin. Development means we need to write the code and achieve requirement, that is development. Okay. So any other questions before ending?
Just like there is an object called case, is there an object called issue?
No.
No.
So you see the
Right.
object case,
No,
one
that's
of
fine.
the standard object. Yeah. So people, client to client, they prefer different different terminology, right? Let's say if they don't like to call that as a case, in most of the projects you see they change that one as service activity, right? So something like that. Maybe so whatever you are saying with that name also we can rename basically the standard
Oh, those.
object labels.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Or if they don't like to disturb that existing, and we can create a custom object with whatever.
Right, when I log into my Salesforce, my company's Salesforce, I see issues. We create issues there. We have cases also. So I was thinking maybe it's a.
Yeah, so they have cases also. The meaning is they have cases, standard object using, and issues might be a custom object.
Custom, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. So okay, we'll continue on Monday. I'm going to send email. Maybe my account details or how you can transfer all those things. So if you are interested to continue, you can just so pay the fee and share in WhatsApp or maybe email. You'll get the meeting invitation on Monday afternoon. Okay, that's the procedure. We'll continue on Monday. Thank you.
Thanks, Vinay.